Hey gang, this is Mike with Mr. No Fluff, and today we're going to be talking about subject to rental property investing and three, not so recognizable or not so obvious or not so clear um, tips from a professional landlord like myself. Now, I always freestyle. I'm not scripted. I talk from my heart. And the reason I'm bringing you this information is, and what makes me experiencing this is that I've been landlording since 2006, 2007, in the last crash. I've been, I own a brokerage firm. Not, I wasn't an agent, but I own a brokerage firm, and I had brokers and agents working for me since 2007. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. I never had a job or resume. I own rental properties, and I bought the majority of my rent, actually all of my rental properties strategy, what I call subject to. Okay. That doesn't mean I don't buy houses for cash. I will do that, but the numbers have to be right. In in an economic crash in like 2006, 2007, 2008, many people were didn't have a lot of equity. Okay. So how to use different strategies. One that I'm talking about, subject to investing. Now, what I'm going to share with you is the rental aspect of subject to investing. And I'm not going to talk about stuff that you hear on Facebook and on YouTube. Everyone is just recycling it. I'm going to talk about my own personal experiences and, embarrass myself, what have you, and show you my mistakes so you understand that any business or anytime you want to be your dreams, it's going to be difficult, right? It's not going to be easy cheesy. The only thing is easy cheesy is, you know, going from elementary, getting into debt to going to college and then getting a job. And that's not even that easy cheesy in today's economy. Okay. Um, so one of the tips that's not so obvious or recognizable or clear as being a real estate investor owning rental properties is, for example, when I got into the business, my plan was to buy a bunch of properties, right, and then hold on to them, right, and have them paid off, and then give it to my kids. But the only thing was that, A, I didn't have any kids at that time, right? Well, this is which is not the number one point, but I'm just giving you like, like I had different plans, right? I had plans of buying real estate property and then giving it to family members, like my immediate kids, all right? But what I didn't understand that no matter what my plans were, like I had a plan for do this or I had a plan to do that, that life had its own plans, right? The life had its own plans, and I didn't understand and participate that into the cake because since high school, I done whatever I wanted to do with life. Like if I wanted to be a personal trainer, I went and did that. When I got out of college, I didn't want to work with someone. I started my own business, living out of my car, $100. So I was the type of guy that got life by the throat and basically did what I wanted to do, right? But I didn't foresee that life can also give me by the throat and have me do what it wants me to do. So point number one is that I made plans, but then life made its own plans. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So, one of the most important things when you get into real estate, or if you were thinking about it, to reflect on my mistakes or not understanding, is that I thought I'm going to buy the property and give it to my kids. But I didn't realize that, hey, my mistake number one, that life had a plan for me. And what was that plan? Well, I came to America as a refugee, didn't speak the language, parents are illiterate, and I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be the American dream. And guess what, guys? I worked 7 days a week. I never borrowed no money from a credit card, no money from a banker, never borrowed money from a family member, just busted it out and grinded it out just through creativity, imagination. And I was able to get life by the throat and go wherever I want. So I started business number one, business number two, business number three, and success after success because of my pure drive and motivation. However, after each mountain, I went up there and I was on top of the mountain. Boo, I'm the king. Then I wanted another mountain. Then I would go up there and boo, I made it. And then I want another mountain. And what I started realizing is that, man, it doesn't matter how much I consume, doesn't matter how much I reach my goals, I'm not feeling happy. And that's when it dawned on me, well, it took a long time for me to dawn, that me chasing material things have nothing to do with life. Me being having one rental versus 100 rentals, it's not going to change my life the way I feel inside. Or if I have homeless versus if I have $1 million, it's not going to change the way I do because that's the way I have to control that. It has nothing to do with material things. And then I realized that all these little material things were just carrots to suck off my life energy to feed the machine, to feed Big Brother. And that's when I had my awakening that I decided to give all my stuff up to the homeless people and go homeless. And I document that on my YouTube channel. But the point I'm trying to make is not a sad story for myself because I'm so happy on this new journey. But the point is, I had different plans, right? I wanted to have one business. I had my moving company. Started with $100 living out of a car. Has made me multi millions of dollars. I've owned it for 14 years, guys, almost 15 years. If that was a kid, it would be like, right? Brokerage firm, Mr. Investor, buying homes, etc., being a landlord. So I let go of that because I realized those things were just at that time, right? And life had its own plan for me. So one of the main things is when you get into rental property, you may have plans, but remember, life will have its own plan on your neck. And it might not be kicking in today. It may kick in 3 years. It may kick in 50 years. So your life plans may not work because life will have plans for you. Another example is like you can get rental properties and then you may get sick, right? You may get in a crash and die. You your kids can crash in an airplane and die, and now you're psychologically motivated. You don't want to deal with it no more. So one thing about rental properties, it doesn't matter if you go to a bank and you beg for money, or if you buy a subject to where the seller is just going to deed you the property. It doesn't matter, right? The life will have its own plans for you sometimes. So you have to go into the game knowing that, like just like a football player, like knowing, hey man, I'm in the NFL, but I might want to be doing X, Y, and Z. But life may have a plan and break your back. So while you're making that money, whatever you're doing, your success, you better have an exit plan, like a backup plan, because life may have a plan for you. Okay. And I never had a backup plan. I was the type of individual that was all in at all time. And that's why I had life by this throat many of the times, right? Because I just focused on one thing and I went all in. There was never exit strategy. Okay. And not saying that you need an exit strategy. I don't believe in that, but you have to be willing to change when if you don't feel happy like myself, or if life treats you in a different way, and you might have to let go of the rentals or buy more rentals or whatever the story is for your situation. But just the point number one is that something that's not really obvious in the rental business is that we may have plans and our life situation may change ourselves. Okay. Now, I quickly forgot that I didn't explain what a subject to is. A subject to is where I buy a rental property without going the traditional way, which means I don't use a real estate agent. I do not go borrow money from a bank. Okay. I don't borrow money from a bank. I don't borrow money from friends. I don't borrow money from a private party. I don't borrow money from any of these people. What I do is subject to is I work with homeowners direct and I create win-win situation. Now, if they own their house clear and clear, great. If they have a mortgage, great. We still could create a win-win situation. Okay. And a subject to situation is where the seller is willing me to deed me their property, the ownership, and in return, I'll make their monthly payments for them so I can give them debt relief and it doesn't hurt their credit as long as I'm making their payments on them, actually boosting their credit. So it's a win-win situation, okay? Because they don't want the property anymore, okay? Just like in the crash where I became motivated, I didn't want my properties anymore. I wasn't financially motivated, but I was emotionally motivated. So in this business of the pawn shop of real estate is exactly what I do and what I teach my students is as a pawn shop real estate investor, I only deal with motivated sellers and it comes in financial and they also come in emotional. I love the emotional ones because they usually have more equity and stuff like that. Just like when I was emotionally motivated because I was tired of accumulation, right? I was tired of chasing the next big thing. And once I conquered a mountain, I wasn't happy, right? And I wanted to consume more or go to the next mountain. I was tired of that, right? Because it was a never ending rat race. And so coming to subject twos, I'm sorry, guys, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so I guess it's a good time to move to number two. Okay, so number one was that your life situation may change no matter how great of a person you are, and no matter how much discipline and whatever you want. You may have an awakening. You might get sick. You might lose your leg. Your kids may die. There's so many different things, and so when you get into rental properties, you got to be aware of that. It doesn't matter if you get the loan from a bank, if you get the loan from a hard money lender, if you get the loan from the seller direct. You got to remember that. Okay. All right. Um, Number two, when it comes to subject to investing in rental properties, one thing I totally realized is that one of the second tips, okay, which is very, very important, is that the seller's situation may change. And that was never in any of the seminars and stuff that I went to, right? They always talked about do on sell clause and do on sell clause and do on sell clause. And I was always worried about that. But in reality, I never had a do on sell clause from the lender ever happened to me, from the original existing lender ever happened to me. But I have situation where sellers' situation changed. What do I mean? Well, I had a couple that I bought their house. It was in the 2006, 2007, 2008 crash, and they were highly motivated. They were going to a divorce. The wife had moved out. The husband was there, and he didn't want to make the payments anymore. And they were behind 3 months. And like together, it was like 3 months, like almost 3 months. It was like in the middle. By the time I closed on it, would be 3 months. So it was like $2,000 or $1,500, somewhere around there. Uh, and what I did is I bought their home. They were very, very happy. I gave them a free move. They were very, very happy. But then 6, 7 years later, they were calling my phone, right? They were calling me up and saying, "Hey, we try to go buy another home and we cannot qualify. Our mortgage broker says that." And I said, "Yes, uh, Mr. Old Seller, right? I don't want to disclose his name. That's what we told you up front in the paperwork, etc. Right? However, here is some education. And then I start educating him for him to solve his problem. Okay. Because if I don't solve his problem, then his problem becomes my problem. And the way I solved his problem was that I educated him, let him know, hey, Mr. Seller, I've owned this house for 7 years and I've been making payments on your house, or 6 years, whatever it is. I can't remember exactly, somewhere between there. I've been making payments on your home. It's boosted your credit. And now you can go to this mortgage um, broker and say, look, I have proof, 1 year's worth of statements that I sold this property and this company is making the payments. And that's exactly what we did. And he was able to get a loan. So I solved the seller's problem, right? Because I could show to the bank, to his bank, that sure, the liability was under his name when they pulled up his Social Security, but I'm the one that's making the payments, and I have a year's worth of proof bank statements that I've been making the payments. So it showed that it wasn't his liability, and he was able to qualify to get a new loan. Which, so to me, that is something that's not recognizable, it's not obvious, it's not clear. Everyone's focused on the do on sell clause, which is definitely in the DOT, what I call deed of trust. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like this, guys. Right? So do your own due diligence. But I'm just sharing you my life experience and opinions. All right. So in the DOT, there is a do on sell clause in there, right? But in the times that I've been a landlord and buying houses subject to, the bank has never accelerated the loan. The existing bank, like if I bought a house and I just took over someone's payments and they had a Bank of America, a Wells Fargo, which I had all these people chase, they never accelerated the loan on me ever. Okay, can it happen? Absolutely. Is it a risk? Absolutely. But to me, that risk is so much less than the number two tip that I just shared with you guys, that people's situation, home seller situation, when you buy them subject to, may change. They may get back together, or they may want to buy a new home, and they're going to ask you, hey, when are you going to cash out the loan? So you want to think about that as a long-term landlord. Now, I had a lot of, options and remedies, because, I could have sold the house. There was a lot of equity in the property. I could have refinanced it. I could have done all kinds of stuff. I could have been rigid and fight the seller, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to help the guy out. That's why I got into business, right? To create win-win situations. So I said, look, this is what we're going to do. Okay. And he was able to get a loan. Pretty simple. It wasn't a simple process, but it was a simple solution. Okay. Now, let's talk about the third. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave it below. I'll be happy to answer it for you. Now, let's talk about the third tip that's not so recognizable or clear or obvious. Um, being a owning rental properties and buying them through a creative strategy that I teach at profit sharing coaching, um, subject to. Okay. One of the most craziest thing is that I meet a lot of students. They come up to me and they say, "Man, the seller's willing to just give me their house," and I'm like, "Wow, right?" I mean, because that happens all the time in my line of business, because I'm in the pawn shop business. So people are motivated. They're willing to sell me their house at 50 cents, 60 cents, or subject to. So I'm like, wow, great work. But then they think about, like, well, I want to buy the property myself. And since I already know them and I know they roughly make, let's say, around $3,000 a month, I'm thinking, dude, just because the seller's willing to give you a property via seller financing or owner financing or subject to or a wrap or any of these creative strategies, etc., it does not mean that people should go buy them, because to own rental properties, and listen to this good, okay, it costs money. Okay, you can get a house for free. You can even have the seller give you 5 grand or 3 grand to buy their home, right? Or you can buy one of these deals and give the seller $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, which is not that much money considering going the traditional way. However, if you want to be a landlord, you will need capital, because rental properties will have all kinds of problems, from vacancy to repairs to cutting the grass, insurance. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And if you don't have capital saved up, like if you just make $3,000 a month and you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're making $5,000 a month and you're living the paycheck to paycheck, then This is not financial advice, but I would never own a rental property with that level of non-liquidity. So if you don't have liquidity in your pocket that you can spend and it doesn't hurt you, I mean, like it hurts you. Like if you have to spend $3,000 to get something fixed, for example, some major thing happens, insurance covers it, right? You're like, yeah, I got insurance, man. Okay, great. But there was times back in the days where a home policy, insurance, home policy, fire policy would deductible was only 500 or 1,000. But thanks to these insurance companies and their lobbyists, now they want 1%, 2%, 3% of the cost of your home. So if your home is worth 200, what the insurance company says is worth 288, right, or 300 because they want to sell you more shit. But 2% of 200, it's a lot of money, right? You understand what I'm saying? So you're not talking about you're gonna have to come up with 500 or 1,000 bucks just to for cover a policy, and they want 2%, and you have a $200,000 home. Well, you're gonna have to come up with some money, dude. Okay, down payment, and if that's the money you're gonna have to spend because you live in a paycheck to paycheck to your own rent or pay that, you're probably not gonna pay this, and so that's why I say that you have people don't have business to get into rental properties because rental property is a long play. It's a long play. It's not like, hey, I'm going to get rich today. It's a long play. It's like being a farmer. And then two, rental properties will have leakages. Like, like if you have this cup, there's going to be holes in there and you cannot ever, now how great you do it, there's always going to be leaks in there. One example is I'm a professional landlord. I know how to screen tenants, how to property management. I own it. Still had to do evictions. Listen to what I'm saying. So there's always going to be holes. I bought beautiful homes in beautiful areas that are going to be appreciating. They're new. They weren't even like junkers or nothing like that. Still had that hole of repairs. AC go out, water that goes to the house breaks. You got all kinds of stuff, man. Right. So the tip number three that's not so obvious is that sure someone may give you a house for free. Sure, someone may let you subject to a deal, but if you don't have money in the bank to take care of this baby, which is your investment, like your business, like this rental property, then you got no business owning rental properties. And this is not financial advice. I'm just talking about myself, my own opinions. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm just a refugee to America, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So do your own diligence. But if a student asks me, should I do that? So I'm saying I can't give you financial advice, but what I would never buy a property if I didn't have enough money to take care of it because things will happen, vacancies will happen, evictions will happen. Now, if this is your first rental property, then guess what, dude? Eviction is gonna your odds of eviction is a lot more than someone that's a professional. Right? So just because someone's willing to give you the house for free or willing to pay you 3 grand or 5 grand to take over their payments, or they're willing to just accept $1,000 for you just to let them take over their payments, does not mean that everyone should buy rental properties because if you don't have money in the bank, that you can lose. And I say lose because you're investing it into your baby, but at that time you're still losing it into your liquidity part, right? You take it from your liquidity into this hard savings like piggy bank called a rental home that you cannot tap your money out unless you break it. And the way you break it, you can never fix it because you got to sell it or you could refinance it, which I don't like doing that. But so the problem is you're breaking that piggy bank. So understand that obviously if you get into rentals, it doesn't matter if someone gives you the loan for free, they'll just take over their payments and give you some money, that it will require backup money to be a landlord. It doesn't matter if you get it from Bank of America, you get it from a hard money lender, or if you get it from the seller direct. Okay. What's going on, Aaron? Aaron says, how do you approach a subject to deal when the seller has a good amount of equity, say about 10% or 40%? Okay, 40K. Now, Aaron, you're in my profit sharing coaching. So if you fill out the Ninja phone script, okay, send it to me. I'll help you direct. All right. But just to quickly answer your question, all right, Aaron, I think we broke up. So you're in my profit sharing coaching. Fill out the Ninja phone script and then shoot it to me, and I'll help you try to get that deal. But guys, you Aaron, and you also understand when you download the negotiation, the no fluff negotiation, that 10% is really not that much equity. Okay, and let me quickly explain that. But you fill out the Ninja phone script and send it to me. Okay, 10% is really not that much equity because an average person that sells their home in America is going to be paying average about 10%. Okay, no joke, because I'll break it down for you real quick. But in the no fluff negotiation, we even go more. But if you fill out the Ninja phone script, I'll help you more, especially if it's a good deal, right? But just to quickly go over, because we can't get into it all here, is that to sell a home in America with a traditionally, you're going to spend about 10%. And quick rundown is 3 and 3, which is real estate agents. You got the listing agent, you got the buyer's agent. That's 6% right off the bat, right? Then you got 3% for the title company. Okay. On average, title company is going to take about 3%. So six, seven, eight, nine, right? And when I say 10%, I'm underestimating. I'm being very conservative because there's other probabilities for increases. So now let's summarize it. We got 3 and 3 for real estate agents, which is six. And then you got 3% for title company. The title company is going to 3% is going to cover the title policy, the escrow, the lawyer fee, the guy that's going to stamp it, sending in it to get it registered at your local county clerk stuff. All that good junk fees they're going to charge you. It's going to be about 3%. Okay, that's why there's a title company at every corner of America, because it's a good lucrative business, man. Okay, so right off the that's 6%. Now you have a bunch of other fees, because the average real estate agent in America, they're trained to negotiate about 2 to 3% off the asking price, right? Then let's say that's the average, and the buyer accepts or the seller accepts, and they go forward. Then there's something called inspection, and when they do an inspection, I've never seen an inspector ever come back with a clean sheet. There's always things to do, right? And now those things to do allows the buyer's agent to start renegotiating, getting more discounts. So what I'm trying to say is that 10% is very conservative. So an average person that's trying to sell a home that's, let's say, $200,000, 10% of that's for closing. That's 20K right off the bat. That seller has to pay 20K if they go traditionally. Now there's other things they can do, like flat fee MLSs, real estate agents that charge a lot less. Like, we've done all that stuff in my brokerage when I used to own it. Uh, but you're still going to have title policy, escrow fees, filing fees, and post inspection repairs. So again, post inspection repairs, that's always a good chunk of money, like 2 or 3% there too. Depends on the home, how new it is, how old it is, etc. So someone that has 10% equity, it doesn't matter if it's like 40,000 or 100,000. Like, man, they got 10% equity. It's 100,000. Well, yeah, that's because that house is probably worth a million or something, right? And they put in 10% is 100. So that's on $1 million home. 100,000 is what they're going to spend on closing. So that's not equity. Does that make sense, Aaron? But very good question. But fill out the Ninja phone script. It doesn't mean that's not a good deal for a cash offer, but it might be a great deal for a subject too, boss. All right. Let's see if other people have questions. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. I'd be happy to answer for you. Go ahead and click the like button. All right. He says, can this work in South Florida? Okay. All right. Guys, like I said, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving financial advice. Consult your own attorney. But I have a lot of students in Florida, and they're getting deals and doing deals. Someone else message 1 second. It's kind of hard to figure this out on my iPad. I signed up, but that's contract is throwing me off. Shanto, I understand. And if it doesn't work for you, this program is not for everyone. Okay. Aaron Holland, how would you deal with a subject to and you don't have capital you mentioned? Would you pass to another investor for a fee? Aaron Holland, that's what you just said is basically what we call wholesaling. Okay, wholesaling, Aaron, is where you find a deal. Maybe you don't want to buy yourself, right? Like if you've ever been to a car dealership that buy it and they quickly trade it with some other car dealership, okay, they don't want to hold on to it because that's maybe not the car. They sell Jeeps and they got a Ford and they don't want that, right? So wholesaling is basically a strategy where I will find a deal and let's say it's an equity deal or it's a creative deal, like a subject to, doesn't matter, and I don't want it. And so then I will do is I'll just assign my contract to another horse buyer or car buyer, in this case, another real estate investor, and they'll just give me an assignment fee. Okay. So you, Aaron, the other Aaron Holland, and we have Aaron Reeves. We have two Aarons in the profit sharing. Aaron Holland. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing, guys. My spelling sucks. All right. I'm just going to be honest with you, and reading. So in the profit sharing, you're in the profit sharing. You don't have to worry about all that. All you got to do is just, like I told the other Aaron Reeves, is just fill out the Ninja phone script, send it to me, and I'll look over it, because the Ninja phone script tells you everything, how to structure the deal, so on, guys. Pretty simple. All you got to do if you're in the profit sharing is one thing: generate those leads to the flipping Wednesdays. I show you how to find those sellers for free. Do that. Fill out the Ninja phone script and then send it to me. You don't have to think so much, okay? Because the thinking is what gets you confused. Once you send it to me, then I'll give you the coaching you need, because once you cash a check, that means when I'm cashing a check, right? So we're like this. So both Aaron's, great work for taking action. Fill out the Ninja phone script, send it to me. Let me look at it, and definitely bring it in as Saturdays, print it up, ready to go, which is coming up in like a day or two. And we'll go over it there. But if it's a hot deal, I'll definitely reach out to you, because, again, if you got a deal, you're going to make money. I'm going to make money, dude. It's just a win-win situation, right? I mean, you can't get any better than that. I mean, especially for uh, what other people are charging, and they're just giving you books and say adios, where, our interests are aligned. So both of you, Aaron, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for good questioning. Okay. All right. I got another question coming in. Okay. So someone else asked, hey, I'm in a different state. Can I still join your profit sharing? Absolutely, guys. I'm using the newest technology. Okay, we're not meeting. I'm not getting into my car and going to some hotel or some place, and you have to drive there and meet me and pay for traffic or pay for the parking or pay for gas. No, we're doing this through the comfort of our own home, our own office, whatever you're at. Okay. So every Saturdays from 10 to 11, I send you a link. You click on, and you get to work with me direct. Ask me questions. Usually, we don't talk about like futuristic stuff, like, just like both of these errands just ask me futuristic stuff. We don't talk about that. We actually work on deals, right? Like right there and there, working on how to solve this deal, right? And everyone gets to learn versus just fluffy stuff that may happen, right? Because all the stuff that may happen is only a sign that we're just thinking. And when we're thinking, we're never going, right? So start where you stand means that if you want to practice martial arts, if you want to practice piano, if you want to be a real estate investor, you have to do it through the action versus the sitting and the thinking. And that's what the problem with our school system is, that they're propaganda for just sitting and learning and working in the cubicle, right? So that's where many of us are having so much fear, so much what ifs, so much questions. The thing is, you got to just pick up that instrument and just start tamping on it, dude. Tamping on it, right? Like, and that's how I'm teaching myself to play drums, not by reading books, by picking it up and tamping on it. And, I'm seeking for a coach to help me beat on it, right? So that's where these profit sharing comes from. If you want to take action, but if you want to just read and just learn and learn and learn, God bless you, right? But we don't do it at the dojo, because there's no money in that. There's money for the academies and the schools, but it's no money for the students, right? And since I'm charging so low, I want to make sure you succeed, because I can't live off that $20 per meeting stuff. Therefore, my interest is linear with you. When you guys do deals, that's when I get paid. And I want to tell you straight up, no fluff. I don't want to fluff it up for you. I don't want to, pull the wool over. I want to tell you straight up, because, like, for example, my VA just told me some guy wanted to join, and he couldn't even understand and follow directions. I was like, dude, listen, my friend, thanks for watching this. I don't want to say your name in here, but guys, my gatekeepers are very important, because we want to only get people that can follow instructions. Like, for example, if you don't know how to follow instructions, how are you going to make it being a real estate investor? You have to be a problem solver. Every situation is different. So you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. So that's why I have gatekeepers. Some people cannot follow simple directions. Like, you have it on a contract and people can't understand it. They have so much questions, so much questions. See, the thing is, that's fear. The thing is, that's not being able to process information. And because of the school system, we just learn how to remember stuff, but there's no thinking, no processing. Okay. I have other students, right? Shout out to them. They know they can read it. They do everything perfectly. Other people are just so lost. They gotta hold my hand. I'm like, God, Lee. And the reason we're I don't want to say we're mean to you. We don't we filter them out is because I don't think you're gonna succeed like this. And so I train my VAs to filter you out because I don't think you're going to succeed. So why should I work for you? Because you're not paying me 50 grand. You're paying me 20 bucks a meeting. Until you make money, I'm not going to make money. So my job is to filter you because you're not going to be successful in my program. You will maybe be successful in someone else's program where you just sit and learn and spend a lot of money. But that's great for them, but probably not for you. But if you want to do deals, you got to get out of your head and you got to take action. And it's the way I've done it is I took very complex ideas and I made it very, very simple. And you just got to follow the instructions. But a lot of people cannot follow instructions. A lot of people can't read something. I mean, I can't even read and write, but I still can follow instructions and read and think for myself. So, whatever you want to be, you got to understand that you got to take a risk. You got to understand that you're going to do stuff that you're not going to know where the next step is. You're going to step on it. You don't know if there's going to be a step there. You got to also understand that you have to be able to make a decision by yourself. You cannot have other people influence you to make a decision for you. That's called sales. We have a no sales policy. Why do I have a no sales policy? Because sales is evil. If you're not woman enough, if you're not man enough to be your dreams and do these things I'm mentioning, then you have no business being in your dreams. You got to work for the man. Do you get enough? I'm tired of it. And there's nothing wrong with working for the man. I just don't think it's your life purpose. So if you want to be your dreams, doesn't matter what it is, you got to be able to think for yourself and make a decision by yourself. You don't need someone to persuade you or give you some kind of sales strategy to get you to buy. That's what the car dealership does. That's what many of the places do. Foley's, Macy's. But if you want to be your dreams, it ain't gonna work like that. I'm sorry. And I don't want to take your money because my interest is lined up with you. And if I don't think you're gonna win, I don't want to work with you because I'm not gonna win. So part of that I filter is what I teach my students to filter out sellers. It's what I'm teaching. The way I get my students is exactly what I run when I buy houses. I filter out. I don't talk to every seller. I don't got time to talk to every seller that wants to sell their home or they want to test the waters. No, I'm the pawn shop of real estate. I know who my audience is and I have them jump through hoops. And if they don't jump through enough hoops, they're not motivated enough for me to work with them. And I'm not going to be able to work with them and help them out. There's other people that can do it. Like someone called real estate agents, someone called short sale modification, all kinds of stuff out there, but they're just not in my line of business. So very important rule of being your dreams is to know who your audience is. What are you trying to do it for? I'm just trying to help a couple of people to be their dreams so I can be an impact in their life. I'm not trying to take everyone. Guys, you know what the difference is when you go and eat at a food chain restaurant? Like when you go and eat at a buffet, do you think you get the same exact quality of someone that really loves what they do and they just only make a so little amount of dishes for their clients versus someone that just mass hurts everyone? Do you ever know what the difference of the food taster is? The love that goes into that? I'm not the buffet, man. I'm not the buffet. I go above and beyond the call of duty, what you pay me, because I'm not the buffet. I'm not for everyone. And very, very soon, prices are even going to get more and more expensive as more and more students have success. I just started this business. I've never been a coach. I've never got up here and spoke. I've never been a speaker, but I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. I have rental properties and I had rental properties and I've owned brokerage firms and I've owned car wash businesses and I've owned PC businesses. I've done all kinds of stuff. I've never borrowed money from a bank, but I'm going to learn through failure. And you know what? I learned to quickly eliminate people that can't make a decision by themselves, people that need someone to sell them on their fucking dreams. Because these types of individuals, no disrespect, are not going to be their dreams at this current time. At a future time, they'll have enough courage and whatever, but not at this time. And maybe I'm 100% wrong because I'm wrong more than I'm right. And I hope I'm wrong about these people. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I don't want to put my life energy on people like that. Not at this time, because I'm not the buffet. I'm not just trying to take everyone in. No, we're not going to call you and get on the phone with you and sell you. So if anyone that's called, like we had 2 or 3 people want to join yesterday, my B had to filter them out. We don't, we love you, man and girls, but come on. We don't have a sales program. We're not here to sell you. If you can't follow the instructions on the website, that means you don't have enough computations to be your dreams at the current time, because to be your dreams, to be an entrepreneur, to be a real estate investor is very complicated. Two, if you don't have enough skills to buy by yourself on the computer, then you can't ever use my system, because I use the newest technology. I use the newest creativity that not everyone does. So you have to be able to have computer skills. You don't got no computer skills, you can't check out. My program ain't gonna work for you. I'm sorry. You're better off going to community college and learning how to pay $100 and learn how to use a computer better, then get into real estate in my program, because it's not going to work for you, because I use the newest stuff. So there's a reason why we have filters. There's a reason that we don't get on sell calls and we don't try to sell you. There's a reason for that. It's not because we don't have love for you. It's because we have so much love for you. We have so much respect for you that we don't want to take your money if we don't think you're going to succeed. No one in America is doing that. Not Apple. No, man, they're giving you shitty products, guys, year after year. I've owned Apple before Apple was even what it is. I used to go to Starbucks to work. I was the only guy with an Apple. Today, I bought an Apple in 2019. I bought an Apple in 2018. I bought an Apple 2017. All of them are shitty. See, I don't want to become like that. I don't, they become the buffet. So there's a reason we have different jumping hoops. And if you don't have the courage and you can't make a decision by yourself, then you have no business being in the profit sharing. You and I want you to succeed. That's why I do these free videos for you guys. But I just know that seeing so many students, that if you can't pull on the trigger by yourself, when you get a deal and it's 50 cents on a dollar, you're gonna be like, should I ask my wife? Should I ask my cousin? Should I ask this guy? And the deal will be gone. It'll be gone. Because a guy come, boom, I'll make a decision real quick. And there's the reasons why I have these jump hoops. And I sound me when I explain them, but it's for your own best bet, because I want you to be successful. I want you to be able to pull the trigger by yourself, because whenever you use my system, you're going to find sellers and they're right there. They're going to give you the deal. You got to be able to pull on the trigger quick. You can't be, let me ask my wifey, let me ask my partner, let me take 3 days. Because there's so much other competition out there trying to be their dreams too. I didn't create the rules. I just learned how to create filters. Just like with home sellers, to get the cream, because I only want to work with the cream. My skills can only be with the cream, not the rest. And I want everyone else to be the cream. That's why I give you free stuff. So I love every one of you guys that watches. I love every one of you guys that we kicked out of the profit sharing or the abundance club. Or it's no disrespect, because you didn't have something that's going to help you be your dreams. And I did you a favor by not accepting your money anymore. Who does that in America? What business does that? I did you a favor by helping you realize this. Who does that, man? No one in America does that kind of shit, man. Only the people that want to be their dreams and they're willing to do it for free. That's the only people. The people that make the food and they don't do the buffet style. And you're not getting the buffet with me. Guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button. I'm sorry, anyone that we be kicked you out. I got much love for you, but I'm trying to teach you a lesson, because I want you to be your dreams. I don't want you to get in debt. I want you to be your dreams, no matter how much fear and thinking you have in your brain. I still want you to be able to march forward to your dreams. And that's what I'm about. Much love, guys.